Hold on to your seats, because what's about to unfold is nothing short of explosive. Kimbella Vanderhee, the fierce and unapologetic star of Love and Hip Hop, has just dropped a bombshell on Yandy Smith and Juju. The drama is heating up, and the entire reality TV world is buzzing as the claws come out. You thought the beef between these women was over? Think again. Kimbella has finally had enough, and she's setting the record straight, leaving no room for apologies or second chances. In an exclusive video that's already breaking the internet, Kimbella is blasting Yandy and Juju, accusing them of betrayal, lies, and stirring up trouble in her personal life. The tension between these three has been brewing for years, but today, it's all out in the open. From explosive accusations to jaw-dropping revelations, this feud is far from over. Fans are shocked, emotions are running high, and families are being torn apart. Who's in the wrong? Who's really been playing the game all along? And most importantly, will this divide the Love and Hip Hop crew for good? Stick around, because you're not going to want to miss how this all plays out. The drama's just getting started, and trust me, it's going to get a whole lot messier from here. The storm that's been brewing between Kimbella Vanderhee, Yandy Smith, and Juju finally came to a head, and the fallout is nothing short of catastrophic. It all started with whispers and rumors, small comments made here and there, but Kimbella had kept her silence, until now. In a fiery video that dropped on social media late last night, Kimbella didn't hold back. "I've been quiet for way too long, but now I'm going to make it known who's been fake from day one." She spat, her words sharp and filled with undeniable venom. Kimbella's first target? Yandy. Their long history was filled with moments of friendship, betrayal, and constant tension. Over the years, they'd had their share of disagreements, but Kimbella was always the one trying to keep the peace, until Yandy crossed a line. Yandy acts like she's always the victim, like she's never the problem. But let's be real, she's the one who's been playing dirty. Kimbella raged in the video, her eyes burning with anger. "She's been two-faced, and I've had enough of pretending that we're still cool. The truth always comes out." Fans were immediately divided. Some supported Kimbella, recognizing the years of tension that had finally boiled over, while others sided with Yandy, claiming that Kimbella was just being reckless. Yandy's been nothing but loyal to her, and now Kimbella's turning on her? "That's cold," one fan commented. On the video, while another countered, "Yandy's been playing a game this whole time. Kimbella's right to speak out." But it didn't end there. Kimbella didn't just accuse Yandy of being fake, she also called out Juju, Yandy's close friend and another longtime rival of hers. The betrayal wasn't just about Yandy anymore. Kimbella had been holding on to years of frustration toward Juju, and she wasn't afraid to unleash it. "Juju, please, she's as fake as they come," Kimbella fired back, her voice dripping with disdain. "She's been in the shadows, pretending to be a friend, but behind my back, she's been saying all kinds of things. She's no better than Yandy, they're both snakes." For a moment, fans were speechless. The level of betrayal Kimbella was describing was intense, too intense for some to even believe. Had Yandy and Juju really been that two-faced all along? Was this really the Kimbella we thought we knew? Or was there a darker side to her that had been hidden from the public eye? The social media reaction was immediate. Everyone had something to say, and the world of reality TV was watching, waiting for the next move. Yandy herself didn't take long to respond. Her post was calm, calculated, and full of grace, at least on the surface. "Sometimes you have to let people talk. I'll continue to be the bigger person," Yandy tweeted, but her followers weren't buying it. They could see through the facade. Yandy's silence was only making things worse, and many began to question her loyalty to Kimbella. But it wasn't just Yandy and Juju who were feeling the heat. The entire Love and Hip Hop cast was now under fire. Kimbella's accusations had thrown the entire group into chaos. Was the bond between the women truly as strong as it seemed on camera, or had it always been a facade? And how would the other cast members react to this explosive new drama? As the online debates raged on, an unexpected voice entered the conversation: Juju herself. It wasn't long before she posted her own response to Kimbella's video, but her message was far from apologetic. "I'm not the one who's been spreading lies or starting drama," Juju wrote, her tone icy. "Maybe it's time Kimbella took a look in the mirror before pointing fingers at everyone else. I've always been real with her. If she can't handle the truth, that's on her." Fans couldn't believe what they were reading. Juju's response only fueled the fire, and the feud between the three women seemed destined to spiral out of control. The reactions were mixed, with some defending Juju's stance, while others felt like she was just as guilty as Kimbella had claimed. Was this going to be the final nail in the coffin for their friendships? Or could there still be a chance for reconciliation? As the drama continued to unfold, Kimbella's supporters rallied behind her. They flooded her posts with messages of encouragement, calling her brave for speaking out. "Finally, someone is telling the truth about these fake friends," one fan wrote, while another declared, "Kimbella's right. Yandy and Juju have been playing a game all this time. It's about time someone called them out." But as the tension built, an even more shocking development emerged. Behind the scenes, Yandy was reportedly planning a major retaliation against Kimbella. Word on the street was that Yandy was about to drop her own bombshell, something that would expose even more secrets about Kimbella's life. Would this be the end of their friendship, or would Kimbella be forced to defend herself once again? Stakes were higher than ever, and the drama between these three women was only just beginning. Fans could feel it in the air. The tension, the anger, the heartbreak. What would happen next? Would Yandy and Juju finally come clean? Or would Kimbella continue to fight for the truth? The answers were still unclear, but one thing was for sure. No one was going to walk away from this feud unscathed. As the fallout continued to spiral, the pressure was mounting. Kimbella's explosive accusations were shaking the very foundation of love and hip-hop. What started as a personal dispute between her, Yandy, and Juju was now spilling into the public domain. And the reactions? Well, they were nothing short of chaotic. Fans were on the edge of their seats, eagerly waiting for the next round of insults, revelations, and shocking betrayals. But the biggest question on everyone's mind was, what would Yandy do next? Behind closed doors, Yandy was seething. She had always portrayed herself as the calm, collected one, the woman who rose above petty drama. But now, Kimbella had crossed a line, and the anger inside her was bubbling to the surface. "She thinks she can just come at me like that?" Yandy muttered under her breath as she scrolled through Kimbella's video. "No one disrespects me like this and gets away with it." Yandy wasn't just going to sit back and let Kimbella tarnish her reputation. She was about to reveal something that could shake the entire love and hip-hop universe to its core. Something so personal, so intimate, that it could potentially ruin Kimbella's carefully crafted public image. "It's time," Yandy said, coldly, the wheels in her head already turning. In the middle of all this, Juju's position was becoming increasingly complicated. As Kimbella continued to drop bombshell after bombshell, Juju found herself stuck in the middle. On one hand, she had her loyalty to Yandy. On the other, she had Kimbella, who, despite their past issues, was her friend. But now, Juju didn't know what to think. "I never thought it would get this messy," Juju admitted in a private interview with a close friend. "But Kimbella's right. There's been a lot of stuff we haven't been honest about." In the weeks that followed, it became clear that Juju was conflicted. While she was publicly siding with Yandy, her private conversations with Kimbella were revealing cracks in her loyalty. Kimbella's accusations about betrayal were starting to make sense, and Juju couldn't ignore the feeling that maybe she had been complicit in a lot of the drama that had unfolded over the years. But the real drama came when Yandy's retaliation video finally dropped. The post was timed perfectly, hitting the internet like a storm. Yandy didn't just respond to Kimbella's accusations. She went straight for the jugular. "You want to talk about betrayal?" Yandy started, her voice steady and controlled. "Let's talk about how you tried to ruin my family for clout. Let's talk about how you've been trying to destroy everything I've worked for just because you can't stand seeing me rise." The video sent shockwaves through social media. Yandy didn't hold back. She accused Kimbella of using her for fame, of pretending to be a friend while secretly undermining her at every turn. "You think you can expose me, but what about your skeletons? What about all the lies you've told to make yourself look good?" Yandy's words were calculated, each one designed to hit Kimbella where it hurt most. Her reputation. Her reputation. Juju's name was also dragged into the drama, as Yandy suggested that Juju had known about Kimbella's manipulative behavior all along. "You think Juju's your real friend? Wake up, Kimbella. She's been playing both sides from day one," Yandy claimed, sending the internet into overdrive. "And now she's acting like she's the victim. Please." It was a calculated move, and it worked. The backlash against Kimbella was swift. Fans flooded social media with support for Yandy, praising her for finally standing up for herself. Yandy told her, one fan commented, Kimbella thought she could expose Yandy, but Yandy flipped it on her. Now Kimbella's looking weak, but not everyone was buying it. Kimbella's supporters came out in full force, calling Yandy's video a desperate attempt to salvage her image. Yandy's just mad because Kimbella exposed her for what she really is. Fake, another fan wrote. She's been pretending to be the victim all this time. But now the truth is out. Meanwhile, Juju was nowhere to be found. She hadn't posted anything on social media since Yandy's video dropped. Was she planning to speak out? Was she going to pick a side? Fans were eagerly waiting for her next move, unsure of where her loyalties lay. Then, the unthinkable happened. In the midst of all the chaos, an old friend of Kimbella's, someone who had been out of the public eye for years, came forward with a bombshell revelation of their own. It's not just Kimbella, Yandy, and Juju, the source revealed. There's someone else involved in this, someone who has been pulling the strings behind the scenes, causing even more drama than anyone knows. This new revelation sent everyone into a frenzy. Who was this mysterious person? What role had they played in the feud between the three women? Kimbella, Yandy, and Juju were all involved, but now it seemed like there was an even bigger player in the game, someone who had been manipulating everything from the shadows. This revelation didn't just make things more complicated, it threw the entire narrative into question. Was the fight between Kimbella, Yandy, and Juju really just the tip of the iceberg? Was there a much deeper conspiracy at play? Fans were now more invested than ever, trying to piece together the mystery of who this new person was and what their true motives were. As the days passed, the drama showed no signs of slowing down. Kimbella was still speaking out, Yandy was still on the offensive, and Juju's silence was only making things more intriguing. The tension between them was palpable, and no one could predict what would happen next. One thing was for sure. This was far from over. As the days went by, the drama surrounding Kimbella, Yandy, and Juju grew even more intense. The public was still reeling from Yandy's explosive video, but the most shocking twist was the emergence of an unexpected figure, a former friend of Kimbella's who had remained out of the public eye for years. The new source, whose identity was still shrouded in mystery, dropped a bombshell that threatened to change everything. It's not just Kimbella, Yandy, and Juju, the source revealed. There's someone else involved, someone who's been manipulating the situation behind the scenes from the start. The revelation stunned everyone. The dynamics between Kimbella, Yandy, and Juju were already complicated, but now the game had changed entirely. Who was this mysterious person? Was it someone close to the women? Or was it an outsider who had been pulling strings to fuel the feud? The internet exploded with speculation. Fans flooded social media with theories, trying to connect the dots. Could it be someone from their past? Maybe an ex or a former friend? One fan tweeted. Another suggested, what if it's someone who's secretly working to ruin them all? Kimbella, who had been maintaining a steady presence online despite the backlash, finally broke her silence. In an emotional Instagram live session, she addressed the rumors and the new mystery figure. I know everyone's asking about this so-called mystery person, Kimbella began, her voice filled with frustration. I don't know who it is, but I've got my suspicions. It's funny how every time things start to go public, someone always comes out of the woodwork with these so-called revelations. But let me be clear, I'm not scared of anyone trying to twist the narrative. This is my truth, and I'm not backing down. Kimbella's words were met with mixed reactions. Some fans admired her for owning the situation, while others felt she was deflecting attention from the core issues. But the bigger question remained, was Kimbella telling the whole truth? The appearance of this mysterious figure only added more fuel to the fire. Meanwhile, Yandy was not backing down either. She had already made it clear in her video that she had no intention of letting Kimbella get away with what she had said. But with this new wrinkle in the story, Yandy was beginning to feel the pressure. She was careful not to say too much in public about the new figure involved, but in private, her words were sharp. I know exactly who this is, Yandy confided to a close friend. This is someone who's been in the background, pulling strings for a while now. And trust me, once I expose them, everyone will understand why Kimbella's acting the way she is. Yandy's cryptic words only deepened the mystery. Who was this person, and why were they so important to the situation? Fans were desperate for answers, but Yandy wasn't ready to give them up just yet. She was playing her cards close to her. chest, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Juju, on the other hand, had become more and more isolated from the drama. Her silence was deafening. Fans and the media were growing impatient, waiting for her to take a stand. Would she side with Yandy, or would she come to Kimbella's defense? The longer Juju stayed quiet, the more her supporters and critics grew, divided. It was clear that Juju's involvement in this feud was far from over. But was she really just an innocent bystander, or was she more involved than she had let on? The tension was palpable. The reality TV world was watching, and the stakes had never been higher. Kimbella, Yandy, and Juju were on the verge of something much bigger than a simple public argument. The mysteries surrounding them were deepening, and with each passing day, the drama escalated. One thing was certain: the fallout from this feud would change everything. In the middle of all this chaos, the mystery figure, the one who had been manipulating the drama from behind the scenes, finally revealed themselves. It wasn't a former friend or a long-lost acquaintance. It was someone much closer to the women than anyone had imagined. The person behind the scenes was none other than… Here's where the drama really intensifies. But before we reveal who this person is, let's take a moment to understand the full impact of the situation. With every new accusation, every new revelation, the dynamics between Kimbella, Yandy, and Juju were shifting. What had started as a personal disagreement had now spiraled into something much larger, a game of manipulation, betrayal, and power plays. The drama was far from over. As the truth continued to unfold, everyone, fans, family, and friends, watched in suspense. The lines between right and wrong were becoming blurred, and no one knew who would come out on top. The mystery figure had finally revealed themselves, and it was someone no one had seen coming. It wasn't a former friend or a random outsider, it was none other than Juju herself. The very person who had been at the center of the storm, caught between Kimbella and Yandy, had been playing both sides all along. Fans were in complete shock. The silence, the cryptic behavior, and the unresolved tension, it all made sense now. In an exclusive Instagram post, Juju broke her silence. The post was short but explosive, with a cryptic caption that read, "You think you know, but you have no idea. I've been watching everything unfold, and now it's time to tell my truth." The post included a video of Juju sitting alone in a dimly lit room. Her face was calm, almost too calm, as she addressed her followers. "I've been quiet for a reason," she began, her voice low and steady. "Everyone wants to know where I stand, what side I'm on. But here's the truth. You've all been played. And not by Kimbella, not by Yandy. You've been played by me." Fans were absolutely floored. Was this a confession? A betrayal? Or was Juju simply trying to stir the pot even further? It felt like a moment straight out of a reality TV cliffhanger. Juju continued, explaining how she had known everything that had been happening between Kimbella and Yandy for months, perhaps even longer. "I've been sitting back and watching because I knew this was going to explode, and I wasn't going to let either one of them drag me into this mess without getting something out of it." Her tone was matter-of-fact, as though she were merely explaining the facts of a business transaction. "I didn't pick sides because I didn't need to. I made sure to secure my own position while they were busy fighting over whatever it is they're fighting about. In the end, I'm the one who's going to come out on top." The post sent shockwaves through social media, and fans couldn't believe what they were hearing. Was Juju really this calculated? Had she been manipulating both Kimbella and Yandy to advance her own agenda? And if so, what did that mean for the future of their friendships? Meanwhile, Kimbella and Yandy were left reeling from the revelation. Yandy, especially, was seething. She had trusted Juju. She had confided in her about everything: the drama, the betrayal, the pain she had felt throughout it all. And now, Yandy realized that Juju had been playing her just as much as Kimbella had. It was the ultimate betrayal. In a series of angry tweets, Yandy wrote, "You want to play both sides, Juju? Go ahead. But you'll see. Karma's a Her words were biting, but it was clear that the emotional damage had already been done. Yandy felt like she had been taken for a fool. And worse, her trust had been violated by someone she considered a friend. The pain was palpable in her voice as she continued, "I always thought you had my back, but now I see who you really are. And trust me, this isn't over." Kimbella, on the other hand, had a different reaction. She wasn't angry. She was almost relieved. For months, she had been questioning whether or not Juju was genuinely on her side, or if she was just trying to keep things amicable for the sake of appearing neutral. But now, Kimbella felt vindicated. The truth was finally out, and she wasn't the villain in this story. "So this is what it's been all along," Kimbella said in a live video. "Juju was playing both of us. She thought she could have it all, our loyalty, our trust. But now the tables have turned. No one wins when they play games like that." Despite the shockwaves caused by Juju's post, the story didn't end there. In fact, it felt like the tension was just beginning to escalate. Kimbella and Yandy, despite their own deep issues, had something in common now. They were both victims of Juju's manipulation, but as Kimbella and Yandy plotted their next move, another bombshell dropped. A leaked text message from Juju to a mutual friend surfaced online. In the message, Juju had openly admitted to plotting her rise to fame through the drama between the women. "This feud is gold," Juju had written. "I'm going to sit back and let them destroy each other while I collect my bags." The text message sent fans into a frenzy. Was Juju really just in it for the fame? Had everything she'd done, every whispered conversation and subtle manipulation, been part of a larger strategy to position herself as the last one standing? Fans flooded social media with outrage, calling Juju everything from a snake to a master manipulator. In response, Juju didn't try to deny it. Instead, she embraced the chaos, posting another video where she mockingly addressed the growing backlash. "You can call me whatever you want," she said with a smirk. "But at the end of the day, I'm the one who's playing the game and winning. I didn't need anyone's approval to get ahead. You all just don't like the fact that I'm smarter than you thought." The divide between the women had never been clearer. Kimbella, Yandy, and Juju were all playing their own game. Now, each woman vying for control of the narrative. With every new move, the drama escalated, and the stakes got higher. As the feud continued to grow, fans were left wondering, who would come out on top? Would Kimbella and Yandy ever reconcile, or had Juju truly destroyed their friendship beyond repair? And more importantly, was this feud really just about betrayal? Or was there something even deeper lurking beneath the surface? As the weeks passed, the world watched as the fallout from Juju's explosive revelation continued to unfold. The tension between Kimbella, Yandy, and Juju was at an all-time high, and everyone seemed to be waiting for the inevitable final showdown. But the question on everyone's mind was, who was truly in control of the situation? Was it Kimbella, whose vulnerability had been exposed, or was Yandy the one holding the power, even though her trust had been shattered? And where did Juju stand in all of this? Kimbella had become more outspoken than ever before. In a series of interviews, she shared her side of the story, detailing her experiences with Yandy and Juju. "I've been through a lot in my life, but this is the worst kind of betrayal," Kimbella said with tears in her eyes during one emotional interview. "Yandy was like a sister to me, and Juju, we were supposed to be friends. I'm done with the games. I'm not going to sit back and let them destroy me. This is my moment to speak my truth." Kimbella's words seemed to resonate with fans. For the first time, many saw her as a victim, someone who had been manipulated by the people she trusted the most. "The way Yandy used to talk about Kimbella behind her back, and the way Juju played both sides," one fan tweeted. "Kimbella deserves better than that." Yandy, however, was not moved by Kimbella's tears. In a heated Twitter rant, she fired back. "You think you've been betrayed, Kimbella? Let's talk about the betrayal I've been dealing with. I gave you a platform, a career, and this is how you repay me? By lying and spreading rumors? I'll expose you for who you really are if I have to. Don't test me." Yandy's words were cutting, but it was clear that the situation was escalating. The feud between the two women was far from over. Fans, too, were torn, while some supported. Kimbella, believing she was being unfairly attacked. Others sided with Yandy, arguing that she had every right to defend herself after everything Kimbella had said about her. It was a battle of loyalty versus betrayal, and no one knew how it would end. And then there was Juju, the mastermind behind it all. Her calculated silence continued to fuel the drama, as fans speculated about what her next move would be. Was she truly playing the game, as she had so boldly admitted? Or was she just waiting for the right moment to strike again? It wasn't, until a few days later that Juju finally decided to speak out again. She posted a cryptic message on her Instagram story. The interview ended in chaos. None of the women were willing to back down, and the feud remained as heated as ever. Fans flooded social media with reactions, many praising the women for finally speaking their truths, while others were left wondering if the relationships could ever be repaired. Was this really the end, or was it just the beginning of an even bigger battle? And just like that, the explosive drama between Kimbella, Yandy, and Juju has left everyone speechless. What started as a friendship built on years of shared experiences has now turned into a public war of words, betrayals, and accusations. Who's right? Who's wrong? And will any of these women ever be able to repair the damage that's been done? Fans are divided, some still rallying behind their favorite, while others feel like the truth lies somewhere in between the chaos. Kimbella has been left broken by the betrayal of people she considered family, Yandy is fighting to protect her reputation, and Juju is laughing all the way to the bank as she continues to stir the pot. Will these women find a way to make peace, or is this the final chapter in their friendship? As the tension continues to build, one thing is certain: this feud is far from over. But what do you think? Who's in the wrong here? Was Juju playing the game all along? Will Kimbella and Yandy ever come to terms with their past, or will their feud burn so hot that it can't be salvaged? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below with your thoughts on the drama. Who do you think is telling the truth, and who's just out for attention? Your opinion matters, so let us know in the comments. We'll keep you updated as the drama unfolds, so stay tuned for more, and don't miss out on the next chapter of this explosive feud.